Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for December 1st. We are looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair closed higher. It did push much higher prior to pulling back. It did close kind of within the range that it has been moving open to close lately. We are looking for this pair to possibly move as high as 87.98, possibly as low as 85.56. Look for some resistance around 87.50 and possibly some support around 85.85. Okay, now let's take a look at the Euro USD pair. This particular pair, this particular pair closed higher today. It is moving sideways overall. If you notice where the low was, it's right in line with support, and it did move higher, but not breaking previous resistance. We are looking for it, though, to continue on an upward move long term. Now, look for this pair to potentially move as high as 151.86, possibly as low as 149.05. Look for some resistance around 151.50, and look for some support around 149.69. Okay, now switching to the pound US dollar pair. This pair moved higher during today's session. It did pull back a little bit, but it definitely moved higher and closed higher. Looking for this pair to continue moving sideways with a bias that's sideways. Look for it to potentially move as high as 167.35, possibly as low as 162.96. Look for some resistance around 16700 and look for some support around 163.85. Now let's take a look at the US Swiss. This pair closed lower today, moving sideways overall, bias that is sideways. Look for it to potentially move as high as 1.0127, possibly as low as 0.9915. Look for some resistance around 10075 and look for some support around 0.9950. Now, we don't have any news announcements, no significant news announcements, rather, for tomorrow's session. I do want to show you kind of what I'm looking at. It's in the Euro USD. You need to take a look at the week time frame. I know we usually take a look at the day more often than not, and sometimes the 1 or 4 hour, but let's take a look at the week. I want to show you kind of what happened here before we had the large rundown in '08 for the due to the financial crisis. If you notice, we have an area here of support that was triggered once and twice. We also have this area of resistance that was hit twice before this drop. If you currently look at some of these, this sideways market, it's somewhat in line with our current one. So let's take a look. I'm going to draw some horizontal lines, and we'll just go back and take a look at them. There we go. Now that we have those in place, we didn't have a stall like we did here at this price level. I thought we would, but we did not. If you notice our current price right here, we have a high that was created last week, and it is above this session's high. And pretty much the next price up would be this one, this particular low of this session, or that week. Between the 2 points, though, we have an opportunity, I believe, to profit. So I'm going to put those lines on the chart. Basically, we're looking for a buy around the 1.5146 area, and then looking to take a profit around the 152.79 area. I do believe when we get a breakout of last week's high that it will go through those fairly quick. As far as how many pips that is, it's over 100. It's around the 125 mark between those two. So this is something to look for. If you notice, we have been moving higher for a good while, pretty much most of the year. I do realize we started here and had this drop for the first month and a half of the new year, but ever since that time, the beginning of '09, we've been moving higher, getting back to the range that we were at prior to this downward move due to the financial crisis. So I do believe prices will end up going back to this level. I do believe that at this level we will see some resistance for it moving higher, just because we haven't really seen the resistance that we had previously. But I do believe that is coming, and it will tap out around there, maybe around January or so, depending on how much it moves over December. We could see this in January or February, end of February timeframe. So definitely keep an eye on that. We could break into that, I believe, within a session, 120 pips within this range, and we'll bounce around there for a while. But long-term view of the market, we get a break of last week's high. We can move up to this week's low, and you can pull a good 125 pips out of the market. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.